Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how I quickly painted my Oathbreakers from the Battle of Pelennor Fields starter box. Alright, as you can see I started with it's a large size brush and I'm going to be using the Citadel Contrast Paint Warp Lightning for that green ghosty kind of effect. And you see I'm showing you here, I like to load up the brush pretty well. Probably don't add much more paint. I just work this around. And you're going to notice I move the model, turn it upside down, all that. That's why I like having some kind of handle to have the model on so that I can turn it around and upside down and everything. So I've basically, applied all this paint, this liquid to the model, and now I'm moving it around. And just trying to make sure I get everything covered. If you haven't worked with contrast paints, one of the properties is that it doesn't dry as fast as like the Citadel shades, so you have a little bit more working time. So what you can see that I'm doing now is I'm drawing away some more of the paint from areas, and then just wicking it up, sucking it up into the bristles of the paintbrush and applying it here to the back of the model. I'm pretty sure I don't add any more. It's just that one brush load. You can, and that's fine, but I just kind of manipulate the paint that's on there. Like in the face area right now, there's too much paint there, and I think this is the part where I'm going back and I'm just trying to, move some of it, where there's too much. See, it like clears up his face there. Otherwise, it's going to dry, and it's going to be just too dark. We're going to be doing a couple of different techniques, as you'll see throughout the video. But just right here, I'm trying to get, this is like the base layer, the base coat. I'm just trying to get the whole thing. And this is good. This would be, a neat ghost type, paint scheme right here. But, you could do this, get your whole army to this point, and you can, maybe paint the base. You get them out on the gaming table, and then go back and do all these next steps, which is just, as we're going to do right here, is dry brush. So we've let that warp lightning dry completely. Can't overemphasize that. So really, give them plenty of time. So I'm going back, and I'm using Pro Acryl Ivory here, and just going with a light overbrush or a heavy dry brush, however you want to look at it. We're really taking a lot of the green out of this, and there's a reason I use ivory, because we're going to go back in another step with a bright white to do some dry brushing, but only in certain areas that we want to draw focus to. So this, even though it looks white, it is, it's an ivory. It's some type of off-white that you can use, and just to start getting that ethereal ghost, kind of see-through look. And this is, we just want to focus on, making this a highlight. So all my brush strokes, are, for the most part, are going down, from the top down, because not so much like for a light source, but we just want to catch those upper edges as much as you can. But like you see on the cloth there, I'm kind of going to the side because of the way that robe kind of is flowing, and I want to catch it. I think that's like his leg that's the leg or foot that's forward, so it's the cloak is kind of pushed out a little bit that way. And just kind of like one of the reasons you may see that I'm kind of going heavy at the bottom, is because our next step that when we paint on the model is we're going to put another contrast paint or a tint on the bottom or in some more of the shadowy areas, and especially the bottom of the model, because I want it to be darker there, and we'll show you that. But that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of over brushing this a little more. I'm not worried about overdoing it, to an extent, because I mean, if I just really say I didn't take enough paint off the dry brush, I could always go back, really thin down Warp Lightning and add to it. So I'm using a Citadel contrast paint, Aethermatic Blue, and this is just, I'm painting shadows, like I'm trying to get underneath his arm, in the folds of the robe there. And this is, it's not thinned any, but you notice, you see my brush right there. It's not super soaked, and I'm using that little bit of paint, a little bit of pigment, and stretching it, to all these different areas. And this is just kind of, breaking up the green and white, because that's what we've done. We've applied green and white, and here I'm just kind of working it in. Again, that lower kind of area, just that to create a shadow, and just to add, some more volumes, or I guess some more tonal variation, I've heard it called. So yeah, just kind of, you're going to see, just kind of poking around, finding some shadows, just to, again, make it, more interesting to look at. And when this dries, it's even more subtle. So you can, you may want to, if you're kind of not the daring paint right out to the extreme, put on a little bit and then come back, and you can always add, a little more. You can start seeing how that green is changing. So while that's drying, the Aethermatic Blue, I'm just going on the basing, and all my basing here on these models, as well as most of my Lord of the Rings or Middle-earth strategy battle games, is just some gravel, and then or small gravel, and then I paint it with that Pro Acryl Light Umber. And I didn't put it in the video, but I painted the rim of the base with a golden brown color, something different. So here I'm using the Bold Titanium White from Pro Acryl. You can use any just bright white. And this is a light dry brushing. This is just, the top of the model, his face. And you'll see like his chest, where the ribs are, and then on that, I guess it's the right side of the model, the left of the screen, that leg that's kind of stepping forward, you'll see, just to kind of have that highlight, something brighter than the ivory. And I have a lot of light in my painting area, so it looks even brighter on the screen. But once it dries, it'll kind of tone down. So I'm just kind of going with a little bit here. The reason I have these transitions is because my head was in the frame, and so I had to zoom in to get my head out of the frame. Once I did that dry brushing, that light umber that was on the gravel has dried. So I'm just going back in here with Agrax Earthshade just to create some shadows and stuff. I don't think I showed it in the video, but then I go back and just do a little bit of dry brushing with probably the ivory that was still on my palette. You have it here, and add a little grass. So I hope this was helpful. If you would, like and subscribe. And I do have some more videos coming out for Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game. Take care.